At this time this video posted, we are in Chapter 3, Season 3. This video is 69, yes, the number 69, tips and tricks to help you get to champs. Today, I'm going to be covering every single area in Fortnite, the most basic, medium, advanced, whatever type of style or player you are, there are going to be tips and tricks in here to help you along the way. Just so you know, this video is stamped with early game, mid game, late game, and the last section is like miscellaneous, where everything I can possibly think of, just randomly throwing stuff at you. Starting out, I'm going to mention everything early game off spawn related and exactly what's going through my head, literally all the tips and tricks I can possibly think about that are relevant. Here is a bunch of things you can do. The place where you're gonna lose the most points in arena is off spawn. So chances are, if you're constantly struggling, it's where you're landing. The most RNG in Fortnite is when you're landing off spawn. My general rule of thumb to getting to champs: if I'm playing safe where I land, I'll avoid all fighting as much as possible till I know I have around 50 shield and 200 to 300 mats. Rolling up to a fight with anything less is almost just pure grief. If you get pushed out of your landing spot, you should not care. If there's lots of people landing there and I'm really worried about my points, I'll veer off and land somewhere around the POI and try to get the loot that way. Because if I'm dead serious about surviving, that's what I'll do. Another tip is to stop landing at the same place every single game thinking something's gonna change. Now I know I'm someone who does this myself. I'll land tilted almost every single game, even if I'm dying repetitively, just because it's the center of the map and I'm impatient. If you need to, literally land at a back end location of the map, because sometimes you just need to survive off spawn. If you are someone who keeps landing the same spot every single time and keeps dying, your mentality is just going to go completely off the grid and it is not going to be good. If you drop wherever the hell you are and you're not a good fighter, don't be the first one to start fighting. Usually what you want to do is ride around until you hear shooting. Then that gives you an opportunity where you can either third party or leave. Personally, I usually roll up no matter what because I'm trying to improve my aspect of the game. If you know you got a decent amount of stuff to loot, just go from chest to chest to chest, and every time you open one, you get loot and 30 mat. And this is exactly how I quick loot while still gaining awareness of people around me and people rotating in. And that way, I'm getting the mixture of getting my loot and mats while also gaining awareness. Every time I'm landing in an arena, what I like to do is do a little bit of scouting. I'll start landing a little bit curvy, and that way I can just look around and see where everyone else is going to land, so I know where I can land without being contested. In one lump comp to recap off spawn fighting, it essentially goes in order just like this. Basic weapons, nothing special. Shields, mats, and the whole time you should be working yourself towards high ground to get better positioning. If you got good positioning off spawn in arena, most people aren't gonna even have enough mat to get up to where you are. So it makes you more safe. Now I know that was kind of fast and I know this, but that's really it. When it comes to off spawn fighting and landing and looting, that's usually all the tips you need. And the rest is just making sure you have good practice with the guns you get off the ground. But when it comes to mid-game, it gets a slightly more complicated. Someone asked me what's the first thing I want to do when I want to fight someone. Usually, this is how it goes. I'll usually start ramp rushing them, and I'll usually start spraying them to make sure that they fall down and I secure my height. So if I solidify the height first, usually I'll drop down on their wall and start to box fight them. You need to grab the high ground first, because if not, they're just going to sit up there and spray down on you the whole time. When you want to gain points when it comes to arena fights, don't be that guy who rolls up on the biggest fight there. Literally, all you have to do is just keep walking and find the fight that's more optimal. What's the best fight in arena to take? It's when you can get an initial crack on someone, but be close enough where you can still keep up the pressure enough to be able to fight them face to face. And when I'm down bad for loot or anything like that, I'll keep trying to sneak around and just go around the entire map trying to find a more optimal fight to take. If you need to, sometimes you might have to let players walk right by your side so you can keep looting. Here's a safe way to take pieces to a box when you're right above it. I do this all the time and it works super well as long as you stay behind the window edit. Once I get to the floor, I'll usually spray my SMG and not get too close to the window edit so I can have enough space to take the floor and still be safe. Even when you try to hit the floor with your pickaxe, it can be a little bit more difficult, so I'll try to use my spray weapons to stay further back. And just remember to keep that right hand peek so you don't get surprised by your enemy. Fighting people, no matter what area you're in, you will get sprayed from all different types of directions until your setup is in a bunch of different little pieces. In today's meta, make sure you are blocking your angles as much as you possibly can. If you're the one that gets shot in the head with a heavy shot mid-game, all you want to do is full tarp all the way until you are in a safer area. Then when you're getting pressured, make sure you're looking for a pre-fire shot or a counter shot. Never 50-50 as much as possible because the opponent you're going against is gonna expect that. So if the player is any good, you're gonna die. Sometimes if the player you're going against isn't the best, when you're tarping away you might be able to get a heal off here and there, but keep trying to play the running game as much as possible. Using almost all your mats if you need to, because if you don't, you're gonna die with them. Quick tip, make sure you're W keying while being aware of your ammo amount. If you're the player that uses all their ammo until you get in somebody's face, you better have really good accuracy, because sometimes I have one bullet left in my shotgun and I shoot it and I miss, and now I have to reload right in front of them. And usually the outcome of that is my death. When you're getting sprayed, don't be jumpy and nervous about it. Sometimes when I'm going against people that aren't in champs, or maybe even are in champs, I'll get 1 shot, 2 shot, maybe even 3 shots on them before they even start building any walls. Be ready for any or all players to run directly in your face. If I've learned anything while playing Arena in this meta, it's players will look for you to reset a wall so they can pull out your SMG and just spray all over you. How you should be playing fights in Arena is playing as patient as possible until you get a solid crack on them. Once you get a crack or something affordable, then you could start to be aggressive as much as you want. I say one of the first steps at getting better in fighting is first, learn how to crack someone, and second, when you're pressuring them, learn how to not get absolutely pre-fired. With experience, you're going to learn what to do and what not to do. Nowadays, when you're trying to chop someone down in Arena, they're going to drop down on you before you even have a chance to finish breaking them down. Honestly, in most cases, you should probably swing your pickaxe only 1 or 2 times. And then you can almost full look up at them and just predict them falling down, because they're thinking they're going to catch you lacking, but you just caught them with their pants down. Usually, no matter how much of a bot you are or the bot you're going against, they are really good at knowing when they're getting chopped down. In more serious games, one tip I can give you is to not hold your pickaxe out. Even that 1 second delay can do a whole lot extra damage with your AR or SMG that you have holding out. In serious games, one good tip that I can give you is to not run around with your pickaxe out. That 1 second of holding your AR or SMG out is going to help you do a lot more damage than you're used to doing. It's going to give you a better advantage when you go box fight them. Try to remember basic information when you're rolling up to a fight during mid-game. Are they scuffed? Do you have the health advantage? Because jumping into a fight with no thought is one of the quickest ways you will get sent straight back to the lobby. This is something I'm always thinking about during a mid-game fight. Try your best to be balanced at offense and defense. Don't be on the same wall for a long period of time. Sometimes it's good to switch up how you're attacking in the box. Sometimes you can start just pickaxing the one wall you're going for, and then maybe if you're not taking it a few times, kind of switch to another one. And in most cases, you can get both the walls one shot, and then kind of trick them for which one you're going to take. During fighting, if you're on high ground, try to predict where your enemy is going to lead out to. You know, if you see them walking to the right, it doesn't take that many extra mats, and it will help you way more than you would ever believe by making a pre-box. Any fight you're taking during mid-game, even if I'm playing defense, you want to create multiple boxes. That way you give yourself room to breathe in, because you do not want to be the guy that sits in one box. Boxing out multiple times is going to be way less stressful, and it's going to make the process of fighting 10 times easier. So this is the part of the video where I'm going to be listing off all the endgame tips and tricks that I use to help you guys. Now, some of these tips might be for more stacked Arena games, but we all know Arena isn't stacked as it used to be. I don't think Arena will ever get to that point again unless they seriously change up the system. So with that said, I'm going to give you all the endgame tips specifically looking at Arena and not so much scrims. I'm not going to be talking about any like crazy tarping strats or anything like that. People endgame in Arena, they play super weird. For the most part, you can almost never predict it. I feel like in almost every single game, you're going to have people sitting in their 1x1s, looking through wall edits, trying to get beams on you. They're just going to be sitting there taking anything they see with their AR. Players with absolutely no skill, you're going to see them boxed up on high ground in a 1x1, looking through a window, just shooting at anything they see move. Stay ahead as much as possible, and for the most part, do not be on the back end of zone as much as possible. This happens to me even when there's only like 3 kids alive. If you're on the back end of zone while it's moving and you're trying to get to the front and you're already in the back, you're just going to get shot so much from high ground, it's unreal. And in most situations, even if you're a top tier pro, if you're getting shot at by a bunch of people, there's not really much you can do about it. Height in almost any arena game lobby is almost as easy as walking. I mean, it is unbelievable. You barely even have to try to take height from someone in arena. If it's a small zone, all you gotta do is run to the front of it, crank up, and look at anyone who's stuck on the back end rotating in. Even if you're playing duos or trios, the same thing still applies. Just be careful. At the time I'm making this, there's no shockwaves or impulses or bounce pads or launch pads. There's almost no movement at all. So you don't need to worry about that on height, but later, if there is some of that stuff, try to be more careful. I mean, honestly, 1 out of 3 out of 10 games, so like 1 or 3 out of 10 games, will actually even have moving zone by the time the game ends. For the most part, Arena is so dead that you almost never have to worry about being in a moving zone. And if it does reach that point, there's probably only 1 to 2 players alive anyway. So getting that height is super manageable. This is a part of the video where it's more of the mechanical part and not so much early game, mid game, and end game fights. Before even hopping into Arena, make sure you guys warm up, whether it's a 1v1 or a headshot only match or box fights. Anything that will help you warm up is going to be way better for you. And you need to take my advice on this, because if not, you are just going to have a few bad matches of Arena every time you start off. I do this every single time, and it is one of the most important steps to succeeding in Arena. Now, I'm about to say might sound really silly and it goes against the entire video, but stop worrying about your arena points. The second you stop caring and focusing on your arena points, it's going to take so much pressure off your back. How you get to thinking like this is literally just keep playing arena. The more you play, the more you're going to be used to being under that pressure. Eventually something is going to click and you realize you really just don't care about your arena points anymore. Oh, and this is a big one. Never be afraid to take a fight in arena. If you're not in champs, just know people's ego are skyrocketing. So chances are they're not going to let you leave anyway, so you just need to full fight them and be prepared. Don't think about trying to run, it's just going to make you play bad. Now, start paying attention to the best game modes for arena points. Back then, the easiest and the most efficient way to get arena points was to play arena solos. You would get way more hype per elimination. You would just get more hype in general. Because back then, playing arena solos would get you the most hype more than duos or trios or anything like that. And at the time you're watching this, it might be a brand new system where maybe another game mode gets you more arena points than another one. So if you're not really sure which game mode that you should play to optimize your arena points that you're gaining, just ask a streamer. Oh yeah, about streaming, I stream every single day on YouTube. So honestly, if you have any questions, stop by my stream and ask me. I'll be right there to answer it for you. Playing solo arena, even if you're a bad fighter, is something I recommend to almost anybody. But if your main goal is trying to get to champs, it's better off finding a friend or queuing up with someone you can play with to help you, kind of get your arena points up. If you're scared playing arena because you just don't want to lose points, a subscriber mentioned this to me, just go into pubs and practice that W King mindset and just practice really good against those people. They said specifically themselves they built up a huge ego and got way better at keying kids in a more comfortable environment. Might be worth a shot, because once you're comfortable, then you could start switching that gameplay over to arena and succeeding more in your fights. Someone said in my chat, and I'm going to mention this, that trying to get to champs, you just need to have patience. If you're really trying to get to champs, just tell yourself you're not really going to get bored, and key and just throw your game away. because that is not how you're going to get to champs. Not gonna lie, when I really struggled getting to champs, I used to do this all the time. I would try to be patient, I would try to get all the hype for playing it out longer, all that kind of stuff, and then I would start to get bored and impatient, and I would start keying and just throwing all my points away. When you're playing arena and you're in a fight, pay attention to your enemy's builds that they're using, because if you want to keep a good amount of builds, switch the builds so you're using different ones. Now, I know this is pretty self-explanatory, but I bet some people don't even realize they're using the same mats as the enemy, making it that once you kill the enemy, you're not going to have much of that mat. No matter what comes out in arena, whether it's past, tense, or future, you should usually carry 3 guns in arena. AR, Shoddy, SMG, and 2 different types of heals. But having an AR during this season is the best way to win more fights. And during arena, you're going to be able to do this because you're not going to be really healing too much. It's not like when you're rotating in the circle, you're going to get absolutely fried every single game and you must have 3 heals. Using 2 when you're playing arena, it's just makes sense. Generally speaking, if you're not good at fighting for your life, you're going to be wanting to hold the fastest heals out there. Good fast heals to be carrying this season is minis, chug splashes, and floppers. If you're not good at tarping away and healing, then this is definitely your best bet. Because right now, at the time I'm making this, there is no impulses or things that you can get away fast enough with, so sometimes carrying those fast heals can be really beneficial. I think it's pretty simple to explain this, but if you're not really getting to champs, it definitely has something to do with your mechanics in-game. I would work on practicing your mechanics in a different way than you usually do it in creative, to work on specifically not things that you're used to working on. Slowly but surely you're going to see improvements in arena, because you're not going to be second guessing if you can do an edit or not. So during arena, you definitely need to know this. If you are not in champ, you might still be in their lobbies. The reason that is because if champ players only played with other players that are in champs, the lobbies would take like 10 minutes to queue up. So Fortnite kind of mixes them together so the queues are shorter. Sometimes if you're playing arena for like a long period of time and you're noticing you're just dropping points, taking a break can be way better than you think it is. Even if you don't want to, even if you're like, no, I'm not going to take a break because when am I ever going to get these arena points back? If you just realize you are just consistently dropping and you cannot find a way to like start getting your points back, just take a break. It can be really good for you. This tip goes out to the people that are not in champs yet. If you are trying to play against people that are not as good, play in the morning, because I know and I personally have experienced that a lot of streamers and just talented people at the game usually only play the game after like 6 p.m. Because I promise you the least sweatiest people are going to be grinding nice and early in the morning. I would say at like nighttime, anything past like 6 or 9 p.m, that's when the sweaty people are going to be out. I've been playing Fortnite and watching Twitch for a few years now, and I just really don't see anybody live streaming early in the morning. If you're struggling in the game, make sure you're not gaming with no food or water. That's the fastest way to make you impatient, do stupid stuff, and overall just not play good. I would say I guess having a drop spot in arena could be a good thing, and going to a place that you know how to loot and land at. But in general, you should be able to drop at almost any POI and try to play it out safe. In arena, there's so many games where if you just go to a far POI, there's not really a bunch of people going there. It's maybe 1 or 2 people if you're really lucky. Practice relaxing and playing slower during a fight. That way you don't keep messing up, doing the wrong thing, and overall just dying. Try to remember that every single edit you have in the game does make a difference. Try to think, if I do this edit, will he shoot me first? If I do this edit, will all the builds break down and we'll both die to our fall damage? You need to think smarter like that. Really good players can do that really fast without thinking because they have a lot of experience playing the game. If you're not in champs, learn how to completely full tarp with stairs. Arena has a lot to do with learning how to tarp away and be able to pop heals. And if you are just not able to get to champs, you definitely need to know how to do this. I would say the best way to get to champs is act like you're playing on a different server. Don't key everyone like you're 0 ping, try to play more safe and more careful. Also, another tip is it's going to be the hardest to get your arena points right when they reset. Now this goes out to a lot of people that aren't in champs yet. Please do not spend your entire match looting. Try to just get your bare necessities and then start working your way to zone or either trying to find a good fight to take. The games where you land at an unconned POI, you loot every single chest inside, you loot the entire POI, and then you die to the first person you see. Oh boy, I don't even wish that on my worst enemies. And chances are you're not even going to use the stuff you just spent like hours looting for. Big thing for people that are not already in champs. If you're playing team game modes, please make sure you're giving comms on almost everything that's going on so your teammates know how low someone is or where you guys are fighting at or how good the enemy is. Just give each other comms. It'll help you guys play a whole lot more better. Even if it's something small like just letting your teammate know you're reloading, it gives them a chance to know what's going on. Also, it is really annoying when you're panicking while saying it. Make sure you're relaxed and you're either just giving the call out once or twice. Don't be like most pros and be like, I'm reloading, on me, I'm building, cracked, oh, I died, where were you? Come on, man, you gotta keep it smooth. Just be like, hey man, I'm reloading. This guy is like 15 HP. That way your teammates are able to hear what you're saying and can actually respond to you. Non-champ players really need to get their confidence up. Think about how bad you used to be to how bad you are now. The best thing I can give towards you is to just act like you always have everything you need to be able to win that fight. Even in the worst cases, I try to trick my brain into thinking that I have everything I need to be able to win the fight, so I actually do the fight and win it. In a nutshell, Arena is about ending fights as quick as you possibly can. If you are fighting someone and you're using all your mats, tarping away, healing, using all your mats, it seems like the whole lobby is drawn to it like a horde of zombies, and then you're just getting third party by 18,000 people. So if this keeps happening to you guys, you might want to brush up on your mechs and other things. That way you can end the fights more easily by piece controlling them maybe from the start or something like that. Thank you guys for making it this far in the video. If you did, I really appreciate it. Make sure you guys like and subscribe and turn on post notifications if you would like me to drop more videos like this, and let me know in the comments, guys, what would you like to see me make next that might be able to help you get to champs better. Thank you guys for watching. I love every single one of you guys. Peace.